We're rolling? Hi! Anyway, so today, guys, we are going to talk about two really cool submission opportunities as we kind of go further down this rabbit hole of the top psychotral series we're laying out. So, meet you down, please. Now, we all just kind of drilled this. On Monday, we talked about, really, probably won't go there. On Monday, we talked about the two basic conceptual underpinnings of how we're approaching this semester. Number one is I need to prevent my opponent from escaping, and the way I'm going to do that is by beating his frames and by keeping my weight stabilized so that he can't re-roll me. And then number two is I have to make him create the openings for offense, right? Again, if I'm in side control, and then I start doing like this, I'm going to get Americanas. I'm not going to get Americanas, right? This would be like that moment where like it freeze frames, and it's like this was the moment where everything went wrong. And then he frames me out and shrimps away. Oh no! And I'm gone, right? Like, don't be that person. Don't be the person who got too anxious to get a finish in side control, so they let go of all their pressure, and the person re-guarded, re-rolled, all this. You're going to feel stupid. Parents are going to be ashamed of you. Like, it's going to be a whole thing. All your friends are going to stop returning your phone calls. It's going to be terrible. So, instead, we utilize pressure to get them to open up, right? We create a situation that is so untenable for the bottom person that they have no choice but to try to change it. So, I get that pressure, and I start smashing their face. That would be nice to Mike, but just imagine I'm smashing Mike's face. Now, we laid out on Monday. He puts that forearm in my face. He starts pushing me away. I frame, rhino horn, and I pin. Now, a very common thing that happens in the process of doing this, and it kind of just happens with Americanas in general, to be honest, is as I'm going to pin this forearm, so let's go super loose for a second. As I'm going to pin this forearm, he sees the Americana threat coming, and this arm circles and hugs over. I don't know how many of you guys have been working Americanas or tried Americanas, and this just sort of ends up happening a lot. It could be at that moment. It could be I've done my Scooby-Doo, I'm going for this, and he like straightens his arm. Let's say instead of pummeling that in, just for the sake of simplicity, right, exactly. He circles the arm and hugs it around. Regardless of how we get there, the simplest way is that I go for my rhino horn and he circles it over my head. Because this is essentially, it's not a safe position in a general sense, but it's safe from the Americana that he's currently worried about. But we're going to take advantage. So let's rotate this way. So, what I'm going to do from here, if he has this arm across my shoulder, I'm going to make a little sort of a strange adjustment. My goal is to find the palm of my hand, split that for a second, sorry, at the knot of his elbow. Right, so you guys see, if everyone feels their own elbow, there's a little bony knot on the outside of it, yeah? I want to find this, and I actually kind of want to find my palm right at the point of his elbow, like I'm holding water in my palm, right? So actually, I'm going to leave your D-top down just so we sort of see that. So he's here. Now, here's the thing. If I just go to reach for that, I'm getting it! He's going to put his elbow to the floor. And now he's got his frame back, right? I don't want that. What I'm going to do is cup and drag my elbow back in space to catch that. You guys see that? What I'm aiming to create is this dynamic where his elbow is kind of brought across his center. Right? So everyone see what I'm doing here so far? I've taken his elbow. Let's imagine up here I have everything still. I cupped and I dragged this back to not create that space. From here I'm going to rotate my palm so that it's under the point of the shoulder or elbow. Does that make sense, everyone? Now, I'll do that in context. So we're here, drag it back in space, and I'm going to listen to his elbow like a telephone, okay? This arm comes out, and I'm going to meet my palm on top of his chest. So what I end up having is my two forearms on top of his midsection, kind of elbows pinched relatively tightly together. Like I'm not like trying to make sure that they touch, but I want to create pressure. This seems like a weird position, like you wouldn't have control, but if like Mike, you start trying to escape, like go ahead. It's like I actually got him kind of trapped okay here. Wouldn't last forever, but I don't need forever to get the finish. Okay, let's rotate that this way just a hair. Perfect. So I'm here, catch the elbow, drag it back in space, Glue, as this arm comes across, I'm sliding up to the wrist. I'm going to rest my palm underneath. And I'll show this without all my upper body on top so you guys can see the hand positioning. But what I'm creating is a shelf. And from here, elbows stay pinched together. I find his wrist, and I'm going to drop down on his wrist. Okay? So what I'm basically creating, guys, is an arm bar, but where the shelf is my palm. You guys look, I'm just, right? Just like that. It's a neat little catch. So again, we're here. We're tussling. Let's say we go all the way back. He goes for that forearm frame, right? I frame, I'm here, he circles the arm over, catch, and I'm here. It's a pretty fast adjustment. Once I'm here, I just keep this thing stuffed tight in, and again, I'll show this palm positioning in just a second, and I'm just going to drop my ear on his wrist for the hyperextension. What's going to happen here, if you guys look, is my palm is like resting right under the point of his elbow, and you'll almost have a bit of a bend because of the way that your elbows are crunched in, right? You guys see how my wrist, I don't know if you guys can tell that a little. My wrist is bent a little. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it creates like this nice shelf. So as I pressure down, there's the armbar. Okay? So, you want to see that? Yes, please. Let's see. Jim, I'll grab you. Let's see like how this works with like long ass arms. Like weird. I'm trying. I'm like over there trying to Don't do this to Jimmy, but other than that, it's good. So I'm here, he puts the forearm on my face, rhino horn, he circles it over my head. The moment to do this is the second that little loop happens, right? You see that, guys? Like, I already caught it. Drag across, catch. From here, I'm just going to slide down to the wrist and get the arm up. Pretty simple, right? Did you see all that? So again, here, drag it back. I want his arm across the center line. My palm is going to support the elbow. Other hand supports my first hand. So I create like this nice little shelf. And then I'm going to slide up to the wrist and just kind of drop down on it. Pretty simple. And again, it's like it seems like I'm losing like my positioning, but like move, Jim. Like, yeah. That's not to say that there aren't things he can do to this, but the things he's going to do to this are just going to get him deeper into the well.
They got tighter.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Monday. Does that make sense, guys? Excellent. Let's go ahead and work that out. All right? Let's get to it. 1, 2, 3.